Okay, let me see. Okay, this question as shown here is considered an experimental design. Okay, they say that Muthu prepared the setup as shown, so there are three setups, X, Y, and Z. The three setups were placed in the garden for 1 day. Underline this. And the table below shows the amount of water at the start and end of the experiment. So can you see this is the start, this is the end. And you notice all begin the same amount, right? Is 1000 ml. So this one has at least container X. Why is it at least? Because look at this plant here. It has the most number of leaves, right? Compared to this. So they ask you in part 1, Muthu concluded that the plant in setup Y took in 250 ml water. Explain whether his conclusion is correct. So you need to be very careful, because if you're not careful, you will put yes. Okay, let's calculate. So if you take 1000, which is the beginning amount, right? You subtract in container Z, right? This one, 950 is 50, right? Right? Okay, in container Y, if you calculate 1000 minus 750, you get 250. Okay, what I want to show you is for student who just do this step, okay, 1000 minus 750, they get 250, they may put yes. And then they will explain in their own way, then they get answer wrong. Okay, because they forgot to do this step here. Okay, why this step is important? Because this step actually shows you that even without the plant, after 1 day, 50 ml of water has evaporated. Okay, so we assume that they are in the same experimental conditions, same temperature, same humidity, same wind velocity, same location. So 50 ml of water has evaporated. So in other words, instead of yes, right, it should be no. Why is it no? Because 50 ml of water has evaporated, right? So that means this plant in setup Y, right, has taken in only 200 ml of water, because 50 ml of water was lost during evaporation. So this is very, very tricky, this question. I believe that more than perhaps 50% of the students will put yes, because they calculate only this step and have neglected this step. So I hope that the students here pay careful attention to these questions, which may be used in your coming P5 SA2 examinations. So learn well. Let's continue with part B. Okay, it says, using the plants in container X and Y, this means these two, X and Y, Muthu would like to find out if the presence, so underline this, if the presence of roots would affect the amount of water taken in by the plant. What are the two changes he must do to the plant in X? Okay? He must do to the plant in container X. So you focus in container X, don't look at the other things. Because there are two plants there, one is in Y, one is in X. So here is stated very carefully, and this is actually to help students, because the examiner wants you to focus in the plant in container X and not Y. So don't talk about Y, okay? So don't ask me why. Don't talk about Y, because they ask you to focus on X. Just focus on X. So the change one, what must he do in order to have a fair test? Because he wants to investigate if the presence of roots affect the plant. So look at here. So these two plants, right? X, right? Can you see there's roots here? And there are roots here, right? Okay. But I want to test whether the presence of roots. So that means one of them must not must not have any roots, right? Correct. So for the x1, I can say remove the roots from the plant. Okay. So one of the changes, remove the roots from plant in container X. Okay, change number 2. Okay, the other variable must be the same, right? So can you see there are certain number of leaves here, right? If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it got extra, right? So how many must I remove? I must cut away 1, I must cut away 2, 3, 4. So I must remove these specific 4 bigger leaves, right, from plant X, or the plant in container X. So I can say remove 4 leaves from the plant in container X, or I can say make the number of leaves of plants in X and Y the same. Okay, so I will just screen share the answers for those of you who like to refer to the answer here. So these are the answers provided here in my prepared answer key here. And this peacock is quite nice. I put it there to help you to appreciate the beauty of the peacock and also the beauty of this eagle. But we need to focus on here. So the 2 answers are remove the roots from the plant in X, or make the number of leaves of plants in X and Y the same. Okay. So we come back to the question here once again. This is called the experimental design questions, and many of such questions will appear in your P5 SA2 as well as the next year 2022 PSLE science examinations. So I wish you all the best in my training in 1Academy. So I hope that those of you who have missed out in your training this year, you can actually join me in this coming Children's Day on the 8th of October. There's this 1-day P5 Science SA2 intensive training. So I'm Mr. Howard Yu, former PSLE Science Section B marker, and also a former HOD Science in an international school using the Singapore Primary School Science syllabus. So thank you everyone. Thank you for staying in tune. Thank you for listening. And I wish you all the best in this full HBL learning. Thank you.